This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Julie, and we're excited to have Colin Egglesfield with us, actor, author, artist, host, app developer. Just keep right on going. And
rehabber. I mean, I do it all.
We love that, actually. We love that you're diversified. We'll use that word, okay?
Sounds good.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I have a question. Where did the name Suspenders Unbuttoned?
Nobody asks that anymore. Okay, Julie, take it.
Okay, so we actually came out of a fan group. We started a fan group, and that is called Suspenders Unbuttoned, and that was so it's based off of Kevin McGarry. That fan group is a Kevin McGarry fan group. You've maybe had him on your podcast, and his character is regularly in suspenders and unbuttoned, and that's where that kind of came from, and it developed over some time. We were doing lives on Instagram and enjoyed that interaction with people, and from that we actually moved into a broad podcast. So we're a little unbuttoned. How does that sound? And our podcast has been in the entertainment industry, but it's a little unbuttoned. It's broad. Lots of people like you, but lots of people like you who are doing other things, including directors. But also we have musicians coming through. We're working with an agency out of Nashville, and so we're just a little unbuttoned.
All right.
That's our weird
buttons unbuttoned, or should
So Suspenders Unbuttoned. We'll put you up, and then you get the buttons, the Pussycat Doll music. Then.
Oh, all right. So how are you ladies doing today?
We are grand. Well, I am anyway. Busy day, busy week. I feel like Thanksgiving's coming up, and then it's Chicago for Rama Drama. So the next couple of weeks are just going to be nonstop. How about you?
Yeah. I'm actually in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, but I'm going to be in Chicago for the Rama Drama event. So anyone out there, if you want to come visit and join us on December 2nd and 3rd, I believe it's ramadrama.com that you can get tickets for.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Tickets are there or in their Instagram up in their bio. You can grab the link there. Those are 2 days are all inclusive. There will not be like separate selfie autograph stuff. We're super excited to go, and 2 movie premieres there, a premiere and then a repeat of Three Wise Men and a Baby. It's going to be a blast. We're excited that you are going. At first, we didn't know that. So I'm like, wait, Colin's going? That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's at the Drake Hotel, which is where my sister had her wedding reception.
Oh.
Gosh, 20-something years ago. So
wow.
It's an amazing, beautiful, historic hotel.
Yeah, and it's right there on the Magnificent Mile on Michigan Avenue. All the amazing shopping. I used to go every year to stay. We had an event at the Navy Pier every year, so we were on the Magnificent Mile every year, and I'm excited to go back for sure.
Yeah, me too.
I've never been, so I'm really excited to see Chicago and to stay at the Drake Hotel. And of course, for this, I love Rama Drama, and I feel like this time it's going to be even more intimate of a weekend. So I think the experience is going to be very different than the one we had in June. So we loved meeting you there. That was a lot of fun, and you did a little mini interview with us. So thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
You're from Illinois too, right? Originally, right?
I am. I grew up about an hour south of Chicago in a little town called Crete-Monee, this little small farm town. I was born in Michigan, and my dad is from Michigan. My mom is from Ireland, and my dad was going to medical school in Chicago, and my mom immigrated from Ireland to Chicago, and her family were renting the first floor of a house, and my dad and his 2 medical school buddies were renting the second floor. And so on Sunday nights, my mom's family would invite my dad and his two medical school buddies down for dinner.
Yeah.
So he would go have dinner with the Deneen family, and he said, they're from Ireland and just boisterous and loud and just like, and my dad was like, at first kind of just like, okay, because my dad's mom was German and just a little more reserved. And so my dad's a little more conservative. My mom was a little more just kind of like outgoing and fun. And my mom kind of got my dad out of his shell, and they just, opposites attract, and they fell in love and got married a few years later. We moved back to Michigan. They had us kids, and then we moved. My dad got an opportunity to teach at the hospital that he went to medical school at. So I grew up around the Chicagoland area, and Chicago is amazing. I love it. But like anything growing up, I just felt like I wanted to get out and explore and see the world. And I went to University of Iowa.
What up with that?
My sister went there, and it was a great school to go. Big Ten football.
Yeah, the Big Ten rivalry out of Minnesota for sure.
There you go.
And I can add one more rivalry into there, because I maybe have an engineer son who, of course, went to Iowa State. Yeah. People don't understand that rivalry if you're not in Iowa. That rivalry is crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it was a great place to go to school, and I just I was studying biology, pre-med, planning on going to medical school. So my degree's in biology, but I heard on the radio my senior year about this model talent search.
Yeah.
And this is what I write about in my book, Agile Artist. Like when when you hear these opportunities that are out there, I think it's important to just get out and explore. And when these doors open up, I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy, but I'm just going to not tell anyone and go to this thing. And got hooked up with this model agency. And before I knew it, they sent me to Milan, Italy, and I was doing runway shows for Giorgio Armani and Gianni Versace, and wearing all these crazy designer clothes that, I was just like, this is nuts. I was 23 years old, and like going down the runway, and there's Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, and having dinner with Elton John, and like going to all these big parties. And I was like, this is nuts. And I thought, well, this will last a year or two, and then I'll go to medical school. And I ended up moving to New York City and started doing some commercials, and ended up in an acting class and fell in love with it and didn't look back.
I love your story. I love how you when we're going to talk about your book, and we're reading your book, and sometimes you do what you feel like you should do. And it's so funny because maybe I have a biology and chemistry degree, and then I went to pharmacy school, right? So I continued on that path, but we have artists in our household too. And just like, how do you support the artists as they are going through those things? One of the most inspirational things out of your book is some of those more concrete pieces for being an artist. And I just laugh. I'm like, gosh, we could have been in the same classes.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I know. I'm like, oh, this is good. Except for I was the one that was excited about the physics class.
Yeah.
No one's excited about organic chem, though. Let's just be honest.
After organic chem, I was like, I don't know if this is really something I want to do.
No one's excited about organic chem. No one, except for the labs. I will have to say, I loved the labs.
Oh, I have still to this day, I have nightmares about organic chem lab.
We had I had a great professor. We made dyes and urethanes and made things bubble and turned them into muffin cups and did a lot of fun things in our lab, though. So dyed our lab coats.
Like exploding things and wondering why stuff wasn't working. I was like, this is not for me.
Not for you. Not excited when your sublimase was almost perfect. Can't imagine why so many people get lost with organic chemistry. It's like, they're out the door.
Yeah. And it's just one of these things where I knew instinctually there was something like I've always been interested in drawing and just kind of like art and design and that sort of thing. But growing up, that's not something that you really think about as a career. That like is something that growing up in the Midwest, that I didn't really know any artists, I didn't know any actors, I didn't know any creative people. It was always just traditional jobs. And I think a lot of people find themselves in this situation where they're not sure exactly what it is that they fit into as far as a career. And I think when you're in that situation, I think it's important to just get out and explore, travel. And after I went to Europe, it was an amazing eye-opening experience to just experience all these different cultures, see how people, interact with each other in different ways, and how, in Italy, men kiss each other on the cheek, and like, women hold hands, and it just to see how, America, we can become so insular and think that, we're the center of the universe sometimes. But when we really get out and explore out there, we start to, at least I started to see that, people are people no matter where they are around the world. And I think it's easy to think of people from different countries as different or other or dangerous or, whatever. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what I love about acting is that, whether it's no matter where people are from, ultimately, at the end of the day, we all connect on the same values of connection, love, inspiration.
Right.
That's what I love about, making movies and doing TV shows, because it bridges all these different, gaps, and brings people together from all different nationalities and places and wherever. So that's what I love most about acting.
Yeah, I really love to hear that. And I really loved in your book how all of your whole journey, right? You brought it all back to moments in your life that happened, in these moments that impacted you, whether your health or 9/11. These big traumatic instances brought these other people into your house and into your life. And by saying yes, or by looking at them, just like you said, how they're a person just like you, going through a struggle you might not know about, but connecting with these people. And that's kind of how you've moved forward in your journey.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. And I will say that your cab driver story made me cry, because I had a very similar story happen to me in Whole Foods when my middle son, he has special needs, but he was a baby and we didn't know what was wrong, and he was sick. We were waiting for the word back from leukemia testing and all these testing. Just this random man who looked like he was homeless came up to me and said, "Oh, what's his name?" And I was just being nice. I'm like, "His name's Will." Like, "That's my name too." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And then he's like, "He's gonna be okay." And he just like stared at me, and like in Whole Foods. And I was like, when you're supposed to be listening to this person. And I thought he was going to ask me for money or like to buy him an orange juice or something, but he's looking right at me, and he's like, he's going to be okay. And I related to that moment. And they're so fast, and you can let that go, or you can hold on to it and let it help guide you in your journey. So I really appreciated that about your books, how all these moments you were open to them, and then it just kept bringing you forward.
No, and I appreciate you mentioning that about my book, because it's those are the moments that have a huge influence on my life. And after leaving Sloan Kettering Hospital and being diagnosed with testicular cancer for the second time, and a lot of people, when they hear these different diagnoses, it's like you think about, what is my life going to turn into, and does that mean, or what does that mean? Am I going to live? There's a lot of unknowns that can be presented to us in our lives. And when I got into that taxi, it's I believe in somehow, some way, I think in those moments in life when we need it the most, certain people show up, or things happen that
Yep.
remind us or encourage us to keep going, or that things are going to be okay. And I think it's important that we do that same thing for other people. And I wouldn't wish cancer on anyone, but it has really shaped my life in terms of appreciating every day, and just being more patient and kinder to, to people, because you don't know what people are dealing with on a daily basis. And it's really made me appreciate so much more in my life.
I think the way you wrote that out and how like isolating the path was feeling for you,
Mhm.
and then in your book you also address needing to connect with people. I work in critical care, and I see these things happening, and we see this process, and the ability for patients to know that they're not alone, that you're not the only one. We'll do a little PSA about testicular cancer here. This is actually quite a common cancer. It is young men. Teenagers and young men are the most common with it, and it's very actually treatable. And getting rid of the stigma and going to the doctor is the first step, but it's isolating. And you talk about like having to go forward, and you reference Lance Armstrong and him not wanting to move forward with his path at first. You feel invincible, I think is what you said in the book, as most young men do. It's very much part of the deal.
Oh, this will go away. I'm fine. Like, I don't need to worry about this. And
Yeah.
deep down, when you are avoiding something that you should address and get taken care of. And I almost waited too late, because it had spread up through my into the veins and arteries that led up to my kidneys. So I had to do radiation treatments. So thankfully that worked, but then it came back on the other side. So it was just, very scary 5 years of my life. And it was when I was on All My Children. So it was like the best years of my life at that moment, because I had like been acting and auditioning for like 8 years, and finally get on my first real contract TV show. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I finally did it. And then 6 months in, it's like, you have cancer. And it's like, wait a minute. No, this can't happen. Like, I'm like this, I'm on a TV show. Like this is like, that's supposed to happen right now. And it does.
Right.
I think that sharing your path is so important. It lets other young men, teenagers know that they're not alone. It's like one of the ways you can help not being alone. And just also that Cabby, just at that moment, that is just like he knew, like you had something. It's a beautiful story, actually. So we actually haven't said the name of your book. What's the name of your book?
It's called Agile Artist: Life Lessons from Hollywood and Beyond.
So as I was reading this book, so I fall into the more concrete world and less into the artistic world. I will recommend this. I have lots of friends who have children, young adult children who are more artistic. We raised one who definitely is more artistic. And one of my things was always like, how do we walk along beside him? How do we support him in his choices? Like even we sat down to walk through how he could go to New York City after college graduation if he chose to do that, just because we could carry him on insurance and things like that. Like how, as a parent, do I walk beside my child? Your books, besides having these great pieces of information in your path, also have all these, like, how do you put an action into place to make an artistic lifestyle work? Okay, so there's like concrete pieces with the artistic. I was texting, this is a great book and this is why we like it, and it's so well written that way. I will be recommending it to any of my very concrete healthcare friends with artistic children.
Yeah, and it's it's not just it's not only for artistic people.
Right.
I think the reason why I wrote the book is because I think everyone has an artist within themselves. And lot of the times as we get older, we just forget about that artistic side of ourselves, and we can get very focused on just the day to day and doing things the way they should be done. And I think whatever you do, you need to rely on creativity and artistry to solve problems in life. And whether that's, moving through a health challenge or trying to navigate your career in life, it takes a lot of creativity. And I think that's what's great about being an artist, is that it's important to not just look at the way things are, but look at how things could be maybe done better or different. And if you feel like you have something to contribute in a certain area, I think it's important to find something that you're passionate about, find something where it doesn't matter. It's almost as if like with acting, as much as I need to make a living, so I want to get paid doing it, but I would do it like if I wasn't being paid to do it.
Right.
It's important to find something that you love to do, that money isn't the reason why you're doing it. And when you're doing something that you're passionate about, you start to receive these, like I like to call them divine inspiration moments, where you tap into the creativity of whatever it is that you are passionate about, to just make that much better. And you start to you vibrate with a different energy. And as actors, we do a lot of work with regards to how we show up in life and how to communicate better, because communication is only roughly 7% of the words that you say. 93% of communication is how you show up and the energy that you bring to your communication. And so a lot of the things we learn in acting class, I write in the book that is practical for anyone to learn about, in terms of how to communicate better, how to solve problems, how to take some of these success principles that I've learned from all these actors and directors and producers, and how to apply them in your daily life. So there's a lot of practical knowledge in this book that helps you start to think outside the box, to have just a better life, both professionally and personally. And that's essentially what I've loved about the response that I've gotten from this book, in terms of how it's helped people figure out different problems or issues that they've been dealing with in their life, or inspired them to get outside their comfort zone and to write their own book, or to start a new career, or to, finally go do something that they never thought that they were capable of doing.
It's those application pieces for me that just are, it brings it all together. It brings you where you're at, what the journey was like, and then how you apply that as you go forward. And I think, in anything that you're passionate about, you're building those foundations and then applying forward. It's one of the things I teach with residents all the time. And build your foundation, make it bigger. And instead of having only one, like you start out this small and you have 2 questions, and then you have a bigger foundation, you have more questions. And so it's not a pyramid, it's actually an upside down pyramid, and you have more and more to build on. So I just like the way you wrote your book is very much the way I teach in my setting. And so I love that application piece. And that's a lot of what we don't see in a lot of books like this, is how to actually move it forward and apply it. And so I was like very much enjoying. So I like a personal story. I like to hear about how people moved from place to place. But what just sealed the meal for me was like that application piece. How do you move it forward, right? So it's beautifully written.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure. Lillian has a question, Colin. She wants to know, how did you, what inspired you to become a mentor?
I guess I feel like I'm on purpose, or I have a purpose in life when I feel like I'm sharing and helping other people fulfill on their dreams and their goals. I've always liked hanging out with kids and coaching. I've always like coached and tutored, and I just love helping and supporting people on their journey to achieve whatever it is that they want to. That's what gives me the most pleasure and fulfillment out of life. And that's one of the main reasons why I left Hollywood 4 years ago, was because for, a good part of my adult life, I was pursuing a singular focus of being an actor. And it was all about me, like acting. And along the way, I would, like when I was on All My Children, I used to tutor down at a youth center down in Lower Manhattan called The Door, where I would help high school kids with their homework and get them ready for the SAT. And then when I was in Los Angeles, I volunteered at Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and I would read books to the kids there. And Screen Actors Guild has a program called Book Pals, where they link you up with schools. And so like they would send us to schools, and we would read books to like kindergartners, first graders, and second graders. I swear to God, if you're having a crappy day, all you got to do is go to like a first grade class and read Cat in the Hat, and like you cannot have a bad day. These little kids are like, oh my God, he's here. Like you get to just being around kids, like makes me feel so open and playful. And
we are both very passionate about kids. So Sarah's background is a kindergarten teacher, and my critical care experience is at a children's hospital. So so we're like all in, go with the kids, right? Yeah.
And I feel like I've appreciated the mentors that I've had in my life and how much it's meant to me in all like stages of my life. And especially as we get older, like when I first went out to Hollywood, I really didn't know anyone out there. And, it was hard to find people who I could trust and be able to talk to about if I should do this job or that job. And, you have your agent, your manager, and they've got, they want to make sure that you're doing the right job and that's the best for your career. But it's good to have people outside of the professional realm that you can just like say, listen, I just booked this movie and I'm terrified. Like when I booked Something Borrowed and I was like, holy shit, I'm now about to go do this. I was so excited. And then I was like, oh shit, now I got to go do this movie. And like, I really appreciated a couple of like this one acting teacher in particular who I write about in my book, Larry Moss, who just encouraged me and instilled in me the belief that I could do this role. Because a lot of the times we just like, having never done something, as much as you want to do something, there's those doubts. Like,
of course,
like actors have been fired from jobs before, like, and sometimes you just need someone to instill that belief in you and just hold that space of confidence for you to allow you to then to actually do it. And I know how much that's meant to me. And so that's why I feel like it's important to do it for others.
I love you.
I was going to say, is this where the app comes in? Did you develop this app?
Yes.
Way to mentor. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So during COVID, I created this acting class, and my manager, he put together this online course on the art of guiding your acting career from the business side of it. And I approach acting and teach acting from the artistic side, how to break down a scene, do character analysis, and how to create a character. And so the two of us created this app called ACTR, ACTR. It's available at the App Store or the Google Play Store. And we've got videos in there on just, it's a subscription, and we've got videos in there on essentially how to break down character and scene and all that stuff. And then also the business side of acting, because something that we don't learn as actors in acting class is that you essentially have to be the CEO of your own company once you start becoming an actor, or whether you're an entrepreneur. And this is a lot of the times where actors and entrepreneurs fail. You may have a great idea and you may have a great, you may create this amazing product, but you've got to learn how to promote it, how to go out there into the world and act like essentially a business owner. And what's your marketing plan? What's your competition? What's the market look like? And where should you allocate your most resources towards? How are you going to generate revenue, and how much does that look like? And what are your targets for year 1, year 2, year 3? And I've had so many amazing actor friends in my acting classes who were brilliant actors, but just didn't have the wherewithal to know how to get the agent, or didn't believe in themselves that they were good enough. And it's so important to have that business side. So in this app, we teach both aspects of it all.
I love that. I love that you bring all those things. Sarah and I, since we started the podcast, talking, one of the very first things we started talking about is how an actor is really running their own small business.
Yeah.
And we saw that quickly, and we see people who are more agile at that. And certainly, and we can see them kind of working behind the scenes. And so when we were looking at your app, I'm like, this is it. This is that running your small business but you're an actor. And I love the combination in that. So not only is it an app and you have financial stuff and acting classes in it, you also connect the community, right?
Yeah. So we have a Facebook group as well, where we've got actors from all over the world. And once a month we do a live Q&A, which we are actually doing this Saturday. And for this month, we sent all the actors an audition. So they have to record themselves, and then we all watch each other's videos and we critique each other.
Okay.
And it's important that you start to be able to develop the ability to be brave enough to show your work to other people and to receive the type of feedback that you're going to get as an actor. For a lot of people, God, is that what I look like?
That's how you grow professionally.
Yes.
Is by getting feedback and making adjustments. These are all corrections or things you can apply, opportunities to apply something. I love that you guys are doing evaluations, and different people will have different thoughts about them too. You can hear multiple sides.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
How big is your group, Colin? How big is the Facebook community?
I think we're at this point, I think we're in 50, 60, something like that. And I'm doing another webinar this weekend to just invite more people to it.
But they can connect with these people for real. Then they can make real connections there.
Yeah. And people have become friends from all over the world just from this type of community. And through it, I met an actress in London, and she and I actually have collaborated on a film that we helped produce in Spain back in this past August. Okay. It's called Duchess, and it's going to be coming out probably next year. So with an independent film, you raise private money as compared to studio money. You just, if Uncle Bob has money and wants to invest in a movie, whatever. Hey, Uncle Bob, we've got this movie, and would you like to invest in it? And obviously, it's investing in anything is risky. So you want to make sure that you're investing with people who have a proven track record. And there's this director named Neil Marshall who's got a proven track record of making some consistently money-making films. And so she and I will be able to bring some financing to this project, and it's a diamond heist smuggling movie, so it's kind of like Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels and all these crazy characters. Okay. It was super fun to be able to film this, and it's my first time producing a project, and I love the production side of things because you're more at the cause of creating projects rather than waiting for someone to choose you for their project.
Yes.
And like I was saying earlier, I left LA because I was just tired of going into these auditions and audition after audition after audition, and just waiting for other people to choose me for their projects. And I was like, I need to start creating my own stuff.
Mhm.
And it was right around the time when my father had passed away and my mom was moving. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I need a break from Hollywood. I need to reconnect with my family. Again, it's important to listen to your instincts. And in my head was like, you can't leave Hollywood.
Right.
That means you're a failure, that you gave up and you didn't fulfill on your dream. But ultimately I knew, I was like, I knew I had to just go back home. I didn't know how, why, what. I just was like, I just have to do this.
Mhm.
And I think it's important to listen to those instincts. And as soon as I did, I booked a movie and then a couple episodes of Chicago Fire and started getting into real estate. And then I gave this talk and this woman came up to me and she was like, hey, have you ever thought about writing a book? And I was like, I wouldn't know the first thing about writing a book. So had I not listened to my instincts, my book would not be written because I would have never have moved back to Chicago to have met this woman who was a book publisher.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's when you listen to your soul, your instincts, your heart. A lot of times in the book, I talk about how we get so stuck in our head and our thoughts, and this is not who we are. Who we are is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about when you watch a movie and when you think about any of your favorite actors or characters in a movie, you fall in love with them because of
Mhm.
what they do in the movie and what challenges they overcame and what how they cared for what it is that they were seeking in the movie. And that's what people fall in love with. And I think a lot of people think that they have to be the smartest and the best looking and all I keep saying is, what's your favorite movie? Who was your favorite character in that movie? And did you fall in love with them because of they had beautiful lips and like the most amazing eyebrows? No, you fall in love with people because of who they are. And
Right.
I think one of the biggest message coming out of my book is that, just look at any actor out there, but you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to show the world who you really are. And when we train as actors, we train to let our guard down, and it can be scary at first. But once you realize, okay, you know what? I didn't die when I just and I'm okay. And it's important to just, let your guard down and show people who you really are for them to get to know you. And one of my best pieces of advice my acting teacher gave me was you can't be everyone's favorite flavor.
Right.
Some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla. Stop trying to be everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And she said, when you're performing, not everyone is going to like your performance. So just go out there and be yourself. You're going to find your tribe, even if it's a small tribe. And she said, roughly 30% of the people that you meet that watch your TV shows and movies, they're going to like you. They're going to you can do no wrong. 30% of the people that are going to watch your stuff, they're not going to like you. They're going to think you suck, that you're horrible, that you have no business being an actor. And then she said the other 40% don't care.
Right.
Right.
They don't care. Stop worrying about what people think. You're not that important. People are way too busy. So just
Right.
go out there, do what you love.
Yeah.
Put it out there. People forget about stuff it's like, stop making yourself so significant. Find what you love to do it. You'll attract the right people and you'll be much happier just knowing that, you know what, this is who I am. Not everyone's going to like it, but I'm doing what I love.
I think that you need to speak with every graduating senior. They graduate.
Right.
Because nobody taught me these things,
Oh,
I
yeah.
graduated forever and ever ago, but I appreciated in your book also how you talked about the difference of listening, to the things your brain is trying to tell you and then listening to your instincts and how that's not always the same thing. And you have to, decipher that. That's something I learned as being a special needs mom, how to follow my instincts over what I was taught in school for teaching and all these things. So
Sure.
Sometimes you don't learn that until it's thrown in your path, but I just think it's such an important lesson for life.
Yeah. And then on top of it, our brains have 3 different competing motivating drivers. Right. We've got the reptilian brain that evolved first, then we've got the mammalian brain, right. And we've got our human our human cortex that's on the outside. It's called the triune brain model. And the reptilian brain is those primal urges of like eating, seeking safety, sexual reproduction. And so those are the strongest drivers that we have as human beings. And then we have the mammalian brain, which is wanting significance and power and establishing hierarchies and, who like status and that sort of thing. And then you've got your cortex brain, which is the critical thinking part of who we are as human beings and our ability to delay gratification. And they've done experiments like where they've put kids into a room and put a marshmallow on the table and said, you can eat that marshmallow now, or if you wait 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever it is, you get 2 marshmallows. And it's interesting to see how many of the kids are able to wait and how many are not able to wait. And this is where we get into trouble in life. As soon as you start to determine what you want out of life and understand, does it align with what I am trying to create, more that spiritual part of who I am? Because a lot of times we can get caught up in, if you're trying to lose weight and look good, but then you've got this reptilian drive to, every time you open the refrigerator to eat, you've got these competing motivating factors. And it's important to understand who you are as a person. And are you that reptile who just wants to eat and procreate and, have status and power? Or can you look at life from that higher spiritual place of how can we make this world a better place? And yes, I know I want something right now, but if I were to delay my gratification for that, I know that it's going to create a better situation, a better scenario, and make the world a better place. And this is some of the stuff that we never really learn about growing up. And it's really helped me, and this is what I write about in the book. It's helped me really prioritize what's important in my life to be able to accomplish these really, aspirational goals. It's so easy to sabotage ourselves when we're trying to pursue something in life, and then just once we start to fall off that slippery slope, then it's like, well, I ate 3 cookies, I might as well eat the whole box now, and so it's important to make sure that you've got these high priority things that you care about in life. And this is where I put together this 6-week goal setting course called Inspire. And in this course, I share how to create the leverage in your life to be able to accomplish these higher priority goals. And I do it by having people write a new life script for themselves, much like a screenwriter writes a screenplay. Everyone who comes in there, we tap into everyone's creativity, no matter what you are and what you do, whether you're a teacher, a CEO, whatever. Act 1 is where you're at in your life, and you write out everything, all the people in your life that are in your Act 1, and then I have them write out, what do you want your Act 3 to look like in your life? So much like screenwriters, I have them then write out what does their future look like? Who's in it? How much money do they have? Where do they live? What is, and by writing it out and visualizing it, you start to get connected to it. And then Act 2 are all the obstacles that stand in the way for you to be able to, that you need to overcome. And what are you going to need to learn to be able to manifest your Act 3? And so each week, then I assign a movie for people to watch that is associated with that theme for the week. So the first week is Dead Poet Society, where it's connecting to what you're passionate about and looking at life from a new perspective, and Carpe Diem.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Secret, where it talks about the law of attraction and manifestation. Week 3 is Field of Dreams. So it's having a dream, and no matter what people think, how crazy you are, like when Kevin Costner hears the voice in the cornfield, and he's like, "Who was that? Who?"
If you build it, they will come, right?
They will come. Week 4 is The Truman Show, where we can sometimes live in this bubble of something that we think is real, but in reality is just this fake construct of what companies want us to believe, and what politicians want us to believe, and then I vary it up just depending on what movies are out at the time. But by the end, people they look at life from a new perspective, and I've had some of the people going through there have written books. They've started new businesses. They've gotten into relationships. It's been amazing to see what's come out of all of this. And one of the women that was in this goal setting company at the beginning of this year is the president of this stem cell company. And during the 6 weeks, about what do you want to create for yourself? And for her, Act 3, it was like, we are a small company. I want to grow and become an international multi-million-dollar company that is changing the face of healthcare. And the more, I talk to these people in the course, the more I get to know them. And it was really interesting what she was talking about, stem cell therapy. And we got to talking some more. And she was like, you know what, we actually are looking to grow, and we need some help with social media and promotion. And she asked me if I'd be interested in becoming a brand ambassador. So that's why I moved down here to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm now a brand ambassador to be able to connect my actor friends, my athlete friends, influencers to come and get stem cell therapy treatments and therapies, and essentially be able to then share it with the general public, because stem cell therapy is safe, it's effective, and it really helps with a lot of ailments, in the sense that it addresses the root cause of dis-ease compared to just treating the symptoms like most drugs do.
Right. It actually, you do hear about it in the special needs world quite a bit. But yeah, it's all about connections, right? If you hadn't made that connection, you wouldn't be here in Arizona helping with the growth of this company. So yeah. I love that. I love that being open to making connections with people can change your life.
And then using your platforms too. It's like the application pieces. You have an established social media platform, and so do many of your friends. You're able to apply those things quickly. And so watching those connections just grow, they magnify. It's fun to see that.
Yeah. And what's great about all this is that, I've known Cameron Matheson from working on all my children. I worked with Andrew Walker. I worked with a bunch of actors, but now since I've written my book and have become more of an entrepreneur, I have created deeper and better connections and relationships with all these people outside of acting because of people have the common theme of wanting to be healthy and find ways to maintain vitality and that sort of thing. And just everyone has something that they're passionate about. And what's great is that we all have started to support each other in everything that we do. And that's been really, really awesome. The Rama Drama events that we've been going to, I'm now partnering with a few different actors and writers and directors to work on projects together. And we're going to be in Chicago in 2 weeks.
The
So,
connections are, for me, it's really fun to watch those connections. Some of the people you're talking about, like Andrew Walker, he's got small businesses too, and you can see that. We love his juice. He does, it's that healthy, using real food items to make things, which for me, that's as a baseline, that's something that I really prefer. I grow things in my own garden. And so I love that viewpoint. I love that you're supporting each other. But the connections is another piece that I really started seeing when we first started doing the podcast. And we went to Rama Drama, and how that is you connect and then you support and lift each other up, walking alongside each other, new projects. I love seeing that. So you are starting to talk with some people you met out of that.
Yeah. It's been great because it's like we work together as actors on these projects, and it's like, all right, you become kind of close, and then it's like, see ya,
right?
And you don't always see these people again. So it's been great to be able to reconnect and hang out and just become friends.
So in all your spare time, you started up a podcast.
I did. Coffee with Colin, and I do it live like you guys.
Yep.
Monday nights, and this past week I had Andrew Walker on.
Yep. We watched.
The week before I had the CEO of the stem cell company. But yeah, I've been able to interview a lot of my actor friends and get to know them better than when I was working with them for 6 weeks, because on set everything's kind of crazy and chaotic, and you don't always have time to just kind of really get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a great platform to be able to just have talks like this, to share what people have overcome in their lives to get to where they are and to create the success that they've had.
Mm.
Yeah, we have really enjoyed hearing people's stories and what they're passionate about. It's been it's fun to talk to people this way and really hear what drives people. It's a fun platform.
Yeah,
it is, and it's always surprising what you learn about different people you talk to. So keeps it interesting. Do you have time to play a quick game with us?
Sure.
Sure.
It's
not hard. It's an easy game.
Okay.
It's an easy game. It's not really a game.
It's not. It's just a question.
Why don't you start, Sarah?
Okay. I feel like you might have just done this with Andrew Walker, but what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, yes. I would have to say my favorite movie of all time is it's
you can give us a few choices.
Okay. It's between Gladiator, Dead Poets Society, and Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
all worth the films. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Yeah, those are great choices. We actually love hearing like what those films, and I love that the actors can never say one, because you always have things that have probably inspired you along the way. Yeah. And so it's actually one of my favorite answers. Do you have a comfort TV show, that that's the one you're going to turn on?
It goes in spurts, or like just kind of what I'm watching at the moment. Right now, I'm watching Big Sky.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine Winnick is one of the stars on there. She's a friend of mine. And so I'm binge watching that one right now. I'd have to say Mad Men is one of my favorite shows of all time. Friday Night Lights was one of my favorite shows. Have you guys seen Blackbird on HBO?
No.
That's an amazing show.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Really, really good. I think
all of those.
Yeah.
I just started a new one last night.
It was a big one for me too.
What was that?
Lost.
Oh,
Lost.
Yeah. Everyone
into Lost, but I think it's because I always worked. Like I missed it when it was.
You missed it. Wrong phase of life. That is true how shows go. It's like sometimes I'm like, wait, I think I missed that phase. I had small children and
also Barry on HBO. with Bill Hader, where
I haven't seen that either.
he's a hitman, and he comes back from Iraq, and he's just disconnected. He's got PTSD. The only thing he's good at is killing people. He doesn't like to do it. He just he hates it. But it's the only thing he can do because he's just so shut down. And he gets hired to go out to LA to kill this kid who's having an affair with this Chechen mafia's wife. And he follows this kid, and he goes through this door, and the kid goes into this acting class, and the kid's like, oh, hey, listen, dude, my acting partner is sick today. Will you just like read the scene with me? And Bill's like, and Bill is so like expressive. He's such a great actor. And they go up onto the stage, and Bill starts reading this character. And then at the end, you know, the class starts clapping. And for the first time, Bill starts to feel a connection with something. And he's like, wow, what is this? Like, this is an acting class. And so he, Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz, is the acting teacher in Cusino. And he's this prototypical, arrogant, narcissistic acting teacher, former actor, now acting teacher, brilliant. And so he starts going into this acting class, and he's, you know, he has to still be the hitman, but he's trying to do both, and all hell ensues. But it's brilliant. If you want to
spectacular
as a struggling actor in LA, what life really is like, watch this show.
Okay. I feel like I might have seen one episode because it sounds familiar. So I need to go back to that.
Yeah.
It sounds good. All right. What about your favorite restaurant?
Ooh. My favorite restaurant, I would have to say, is in Chicago, and it's called Gioia. Gioia, I think it's called. Amazing Italian, just it's phenomenal.
Delicious.
I mean, you just roll out of there because it's just like just elegant and beautiful and amazing.
So write that down, Julie.
I know where it is.
Oh, you know where it is?
Midwest food. It's a whole bunch of stuff you're not going to eat, Sarah. So
I'm sure they have something I can eat.
It's elegant, high-end Italian.
Yes, it's yeah. We're not going to have time for that kind of eating. These things take time. We're not going to have that kind of time when we're in Chicago. Yeah, probably not. We'll be walking up and down Michigan Avenue, finding some food, or we'll probably get distracted shopping. Let's be honest. Okay. Do you have a hobby or an activity that you love to do that's not acting?
I love to run. I love to do marathons, triathlons. I love biking. So I love hiking. Since I moved down to Scottsdale, hiking has been something that I really love to do as well.
I love that. Outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. How about a holiday? What is your favorite holiday?
I would have to say Thanksgiving.
Coming up.
Yeah. So I've got an older sister. She's got 4 girls, and my younger brother has a girl and 2 boys. And generally, we all get together. I'm going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, for Thanksgiving this year. But we alternate between Sioux Falls and Chicago, and so we all get together as a family, and we play all kinds of games. And
I love that. Love that.
That's fun.
Pass right over the Twin Cities between Sioux Falls
there you go.
in Chicago. Sioux Falls. Yeah, no, it's a regular route of places to go when you have kids in sports around here. So no, it's a lovely spot. All right. I'm going to kind of skip ahead. We're going to finish up with, do you have a favorite band or singer?
Favorite band is Coldplay.
Yeah. Okay.
I've seen them probably 5 or 6 times.
Really?
Yeah, they're my favorite.
Love that. I love that you just didn't even hesitate.
Yeah, that's hard for people to answer. So
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, no, great choice. Plus great live concerts besides, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
For me, it's a live concert is always like makes things a lot better, right? So, yeah, no, that's amazing. Well, should we finish up with that?
I think so. Yeah. So thank you, Colin, for being here with us. We love talking to you, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks.
But wait,
Yeah.
let's revisit. What's the name of your book?
It's called Agile Artist, Life
And what-
Lessons from Hollywood and Beyond
And where can we get it?
on Amazon.
Okay, yep. And on your Instagram, you
Audio version as well. So
okay.
you get
Yeah.
the paperback version or the audio version.
And then on your link tree, you have links to a whole bunch of other things in
Yes.
your
So
Instagram.
I do something called Patreon, where every month it allows people to connect with me, where we do cooking with Colin, which I'm doing tomorrow night, and once a month I just set up my computer in my kitchen and I make a healthy food, and it's basically having just a fun dinner party with people from all over the world. And then once a month I do a meditation, and then I also do what's called Hour of Empower, where we all jump on Zoom, and each month I kind of do a different format or different theme, but it's all about goal setting and just kind of talking about what we want to create for the next month, and then holding each other accountable for it. So it's a fun way to connect and just stay accountable for what we're up to. And then also on December 16th, I'm going to be doing a live holiday party on Zoom called the Holiday Hang with Colin.
Fun.
So it's going to be a 4-hour like party of like baking, drinking, goal setting for the new year, and playing some games. So I'll be doing that as well.
Awesome. What will you be drinking?
My favorite is a good Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay. I was just going to ask, what will you be baking? And that will be the difference between the two.
That's the difference. Yeah.
I will be baking some sort of cake or like Christmas something, cookies or something.
Do you like to bake, or you just?
I do.
Okay. You know,
I
the the scientist in me loves to bake, so
Okay.
that's why I'm all in. Whatever you're baking, let's go.
Yeah. So my sister, she used to work for Bon Appetit magazine, and she turned me onto this recipe called Better Than Sex Cake.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just Google it.
It's a classic. It's deliciousness. It's not even difficult, by the way.
Not that hard.
But it's good, and there's 1 or 2 calories in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's delicious. Okay, so you can find all of Colin's stuff, all of those places. Thank you so much for coming on with us. Hang out for a minute here as we sign out, and so let's say goodbye to everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.